In the early morning, the village slowly came to life. Birds chirped, and the sunlight gently touched the rooftops. People walked the dusty streets, carrying baskets, sweeping their homes, and greeting their neighbors with warm smiles. There was a quiet energy in the air, as if something special was about to happen. Among them, a man walked with calm assurance, his long dark hair flowing and a soft blue sash resting over his white robe. He was known as Jesus, a teacher, a healer, and a source of hope for all who sought him. Villagers whispered to each other, pointing and noticing him moving silently through the crowd, yet already some felt a stirring of faith in their hearts. Word had spread quickly. Jesus was here. Slowly, people began to gather, drawn by curiosity, hope, and the desire to witness something extraordinary. Among the crowd, there sat a man who had never seen the world. His eyes, clouded by blindness, reflected hope, longing, and the quiet faith that perhaps, today, his life could change forever. Women held their children close. Men whispered stories they had heard about Jesus' miracles, and the atmosphere was alive with anticipation. As Jesus walked through the crowd, he noticed the man sitting on the ground, his hands resting on his knees, eyes closed but heart open. There was a spark in the blind man's heart, a quiet prayer whispered in hope, asking for help, for light, for life. Jesus approached him slowly, his eyes filled with compassion, and the crowd fell silent, sensing that something miraculous was about to unfold. Jesus knelt before the blind man, speaking not with words but with presence, with a warmth that touched the heart. The man felt the gentle weight of Jesus' hand on his shoulder, and in that moment the world seemed to hold its breath. Around them, the crowd watched silently, leaning forward as if every eye, every heart was focused on this single sacred moment. With hands placed gently over his eyes, Jesus prayed silently, calling upon God's power, love, and grace. The blind man felt warmth, light, and hope filling every corner of his being. A new sensation stirred within him, a brightness he had never known. And then, slowly, his eyes opened, and he saw. For the first time, the blind man saw the world around him, the sunlight dancing on the rooftops, the colors of the market stalls, the smiles of the people who had gathered. Tears filled his eyes, tears of joy and gratitude as he blinked against the light, marveling at the beauty of creation. The crowd gasped, and whispers of awe rippled through the village. A miracle had been witnessed. The blind man knelt, overwhelmed, raising his hands to the heavens in gratitude. His heart overflowed with faith, hope, and thankfulness. The villagers joined him, some kneeling, some raising their hands, voices lifted in praise to God, celebrating the miracle before their eyes. Jesus watched silently, a gentle smile on his face, knowing the hearts of all had been touched. Jesus spoke to the crowd, his voice calm yet powerful, sharing words of love, faith, and hope. He reminded them that even in the darkest moments, God's light shines, and faith can open the eyes of the heart as well as the body. The blind man listened intently, still overwhelmed by the miracle, feeling the truth of Jesus' words in every heartbeat. The crowd absorbed every word, hearts lifted, minds opened, faith renewed. Filled with joy, the man shared his story with friends and neighbors, recounting the moment when he first saw the light. His words inspired hope, reminding everyone that miracles are possible, that God's love is present, and that faith has the power to transform lives. The villagers listened closely, some wiping tears from their eyes, others smiling and nodding, hearts moved by what they had witnessed. Before leaving, Jesus blessed the blind man and the crowd, his hands raised in a gesture of peace, love, and grace. He reminded them that faith is the key to seeing beyond the limits of the world, that God's love surrounds everyone who believes. The villagers bowed their heads in reverence, feeling the deep truth of his words in their hearts. Jesus walked slowly down the dusty street, ready to bring hope and light to the next town. The blind man, now healed, walked with joy among his friends and family, marveling at the world around him and sharing the story of God's love. And so the village remained forever changed, hearts filled with faith, hope, and the memory of a miracle that would be remembered for generations.